So I'm going to save you the time of watching this entire video right now, because over the next 60 seconds, if you agree with me on these 3 things, then you're going to want to watch the entire video. Fact number 1 is that everyone, including you, at some point in their life will do some self-reflection. That time could come January 1st every year when you turn 30, 40, 50, whatever, but it comes. Fact number 2 is that after doing a little self-reflection, most of us, if we're honest with ourselves, realize that there are things we want to change in our lives. It could be improving our relationships or our health, or doing something that really has meaning and an impact on others. And fact number 3 is that the next time we look back and do the same self-reflection, chances are that we realize that not much has changed. So do you agree with these 3 facts or not? If so, I'm going to offer you my perspective on the truth as to why this is. And I came upon this truth on July 2nd, 1999, when my world literally changed forever. I was living at home with my dad, my mom, and my sister at the time. I was 19 years old and I was a bar manager at Earl's. And I got a call at about 9:30 in the morning. It was my mom who was at work and she wanted to talk to my dad. So I ran upstairs to get him and I saw that he was in bed. So I said, "Mom, Dad's sleeping and I've got to get to work. I've got to be there in like 20 minutes. She said, "Okay, I'll call him later." So I get to work and I'm there right on time, and my manager calls me into the office and he says, "Carl, you need to call home right away." And I'm super confused. So I call home and my dad didn't answer, which was weird because he was the only one home when I left. It wasn't my sister and it wasn't my mom. It was just some dude and I had no idea who he was. But what he told me was, "Carl, you need to come home right now." And he just hung up. That was it. So I'm scared shitless and I raced home. And when I got home, I walked in and I found my dad lying in bed in the exact same position as when I had left. And I realized that when I was on the phone with my mom and I went to get him and I told her that he was sleeping, he wasn't sleeping at all. He had passed away in his sleep. And the most surreal part about this experience is when I finally walked up and touched him. And he was just ice cold. And it took me until the ambulance actually drove away to believe that he had passed away. I would have bet my life, I would have bet any amount of money that the ambulance was going to stop and that they had made a mistake. But that wasn't the case. And the worst part about how this all happened was that there just wasn't any warning, and there were no final days to do like your goodbyes, and there was no time to check off all the things you'd want to do with somebody you love. Like, say for example, me, I never got to go out for a beer with my dad. Like, and we never really had that father-son talk that all fathers and sons should have at some point in time. We never did all those things, and obviously never got to say goodbye because this was completely unexpected. So what is the truth that I learned from all this? The truth that I learned is that you can choose to take the time for self-reflection willingly, or it's going to be forced upon you. One way or another, you're going to have to do some self-reflection. If it's forced upon you, just as it was with me and my family, chances are it's going to be too late. So I'm going to highly encourage you to do some self-reflection and ask yourself 2 questions that my dad never had the chance to ask himself. Number 1 is, what are the questions you're going to be asking yourself at the end of your life? And those might be something like, was I a good wife or husband? Was I a good father or mother? Sister or brother? Was I a good friend? Was I a good overall person? If I had to do it all over again, what would I change? Or am I happy with the way I live my life, or do I wish I'd done more of this or less of that? And number 2 is, are you at a point in your life where you're ready to actually act on your self-reflection and start investing in yourself every single day? Success is not something you own. It's something you rent, and rent is due every day. So if you're serious about wanting to start taking the same principles you use to succeed in fitness and use them to dramatically improve every area of your life, what I'm about to share with you is the blueprint for the ZoomFit4Life 60-day challenge that I'm going to introduce later. So even if you choose not to become one of the 7 members of the official challenge, you can still take the core principles and use them on your own. But I got a quick question for you. Do healthy people only exercise on New Year's or when they turn 30, 40, or 50? Success is not something you own. It's something you rent, and rent is due every day. The same way healthy people make health an everyday thing, Happy, successful, and fulfilled people make all of those things everyday things. The problem is that most people go about trying to attain those things completely backwards because they fall for this myth of the have, do, be formula. They think if I had a better or more this, then I would be able to do that, at which point I would finally be this. That's the formula most people follow. True happiness, success, and fulfillment will never come from having more. True happiness, success, and fulfillment will never come from doing more. The truth is that the formula is completely reversed, and we want to be first, then give in order to receive. True happiness, success, and fulfillment can only come from being more and giving more. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with being. You can't have healthy. You can only be healthy. You can't have happy. You can only be happy. You can't have success. You can only be successful. And you can't have fulfillment. You can only be fulfilled. So I guess the magic question is, how do you be all those things? Happiness pursued eludes. Happiness given returns. Looking back to that truth, the be, give, receive formula. The secret is to turn doing into giving. And we're going to do this in two very specific ways, which will tell you why the heck I chose to call this ZoomFit4Life in the first place. Just like being physically healthy, generally speaking anyways, boils down to two things: fitness and nutrition. Being happy, successful, and fulfilled boils down to two things as well: zooming in and zooming out. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. We can take the process of being happy, successful, and fulfilled and boil it down to two super simple daily steps. Step number one is determine who you want to be in the core areas of your life. And the core areas of your life, I would say, are physical, relationships, emotional, and professional. So let's take an example. Physical, I want to be healthy. Relationships, I want to be loving. Emotional, I want to be peaceful. Professional, I want to be successful. So step number two is to zoom in and zoom out for all four areas and figure out what you want to give that will express who you want to be. Zooming in physically has to do with our nutrition. So if I want to be healthy, for example, I'm going to give my body a delicious green smoothie today. Zooming out physically has to do with exercise. If I want to be healthy, I'm going to give my body strength through a TRX strong class today. Zooming in relationships has to do with your partner. If I want to be loving, for example, I'm going to give Jenny Lee a super long hug every time I hug her today to express and let her know how I feel. Zooming out relationships has to do with your friends, family, and coworkers. So for example, if I want to be loving, I'm going to give Miss Lori at Yoga Public a card thanking her for the amazing experience of working there. Are you beginning to see how when you break the being down to giving on a daily basis, just how easy it is to live an amazing life? Or are you banking on tomorrow's dreams without actually investing in today? Now when you're working out, what's more important? Your last set, the next set, or this set? In your life, which is the most important for you to create the life you truly want for yourself? Who you were yesterday, who you'll become tomorrow, or who you are being today? So let's talk about how you and I can make being the best version of yourself your reality today. On Monday, January 1st, 2018, I'll be introducing the ZoomFit4Life 60-Day Challenge. Success is not something you own, it's something you rent, and rent is due every day. For 60 consecutive days, I'll be working with 7 individuals who are ready to get past the self-reflection stage and are prepared to use the 2-step process I outlined to discover and start being the best versions of themselves. Here's how the 60-day challenge is going to work. Part 1 is the 60-minute one-on-one consults, of which there will be 2, one on day 1 and one on day 31. This is where we sit down and we take that question of what are the questions you would be asking yourself at the end of your life to determine whether or not you lived a life worth living. And then we take the answers to those questions and figure out who you need to be today in order to achieve that. And we break those being things down into giving things, which you're going to see in a minute. Part 2 is 60 days of zooming in and zooming out with the P.R.E.P work lessons. The P.R.E.P work is simple. It's the physical, relationships, emotional, and professional. That's where we take the being that you want to be in each one of those areas on a daily basis and break them down into the 2 giving items to make sure that you're being the best version of yourself every single day starting today. Be, give, receive. That is the magic formula, and an important, critical part about this formula is making sure that we do this first thing in the morning, because the last thing you want is to put this off until you've already come home from work, at which point most of your day is gone, so you didn't have an opportunity to be who you wanted to be and give what you needed to give. If you win the morning, you win the day. Part 3 is 15-minute weekly one-on-one check-ins. If you haven't noticed already, there's going to be a lot of one-on-one work, and this is to make sure that everything is customized to you and that we're doing the work we need to do together in order to make sure that you're getting the most out of the 60-day challenge. And then finally, part 4 is the 60-minute weekly group Q&As, where we take all the questions from the week from all the members of the group and we go over them together so that everybody has the best possible experience. So what can you expect at the end of the Zoom Fit for Life 60-day challenge? After answering the questions you would ask yourself at the end of your life, you will receive your personalized fulfillment formula, which will guide you every day towards being the best version of yourself. That includes improved physical health and abilities, deeper, more meaningful relationships, stronger emotional health, along with more professional success and fulfillment. This will all come over the course of the 60-day challenge as you learn to focus on being through giving. How do you know that this is going to work for you? The same way you know that working out works for you. It's an A plus B equals C formula. Eat healthy and exercise, A, with consistency, B, and you'll be healthy, C. If you're willing to do the prep work and you're willing to pay the rent every day for success, then you will be living the life that you want. Now, why should you trust me? I'm going to let your experience with me answer that for you. If you haven't been moved or inspired by my words, my actions, and my unparalleled desire to help you succeed, then there's no reason to trust me at all. On the other hand, if you believe in me enough to start believing and investing in yourself, then let's do this. But first, you'll probably want to know how much you're going to have to invest here. In other words, how much is the Zoom Fit for Life 60-day challenge going to cost? I could ask people to pay $125 a session that I ask of my one-on-one clients right now. But given the fact that I'm going to be investing about 134 hours of my time over the course of this challenge, $16,750 might be a little steep for some people. So to start being who you want to be every single day for the next 60 days, you will need to invest both time and money into yourself. The time will be approximately 30 to 60 minutes a day, and the financial investment will be $797. But as always, there's a catch, and it's always a good one. I'm offering a 14-day trial to the Zoom Fit for Life 60-day challenge. You get the initial 60-minute one-on-one consult, 2 15-minute weekly check-ins, 2 60-minute group Q&As, and 14 days of prep work lessons. And you can try it all for only $197, which of course comes with a 100% money-back guarantee. All you have to do is send me an email at info@ZoomFit4Life.com ASAP with the subject line 60-day challenge, and as long as one of the 7 spots is still open, you're in. However, if after experiencing 14 days of the challenge you're not happy, you get the $197 back, no hard feelings. But I have another surprise for you. If you know you're ready to start investing in yourself today so that tomorrow's dreams become today's reality, but $797 is just too much for you to shell out right now, then let's not waste any more time. If you decide that this 60-day challenge is for you and you skip the 14-day trial, the investment will be significantly smaller. And by significantly smaller, I mean $300 smaller. Go all in for yourself and take the Zoom Fit for Life 60-day challenge for only $497. All you have to do again is send me an email at info@ZoomFit4Life.com ASAP with the subject line 60-day challenge. Of course, this will also include a money-back guarantee, but one with a slight twist. The all-in option comes with a 60-day double your money-back guarantee. What this means is that after 60 days, you have an additional 60 days to decide if it was worth the investment. If at any point between day 60 and day 120 you decide it wasn't worth it, I will give you $1,000. Of course, this is conditional on you doing the work. If you were a personal trainer and your client paid for 2 months of training with you and only worked out 4 times in 2 months, would you give them their money back if they were choked because they didn't see results? I wouldn't either. So before the few spots are taken, do not let your head convince you not to do this, and send me an email at info@ZoomFit4Life.com ASAP. So let's sum this all up. Being is the only way to ensure that at the end of your life that you know that you've lived a life you can be proud of. Being only comes from giving, and giving needs to be done consistently on a daily basis. success is not something you own. It's something you rent, and rent is due every day. The ZoomFit4Life 60-day challenge, which begins on Monday, January 1st, 2018, guarantees you will be the best version of yourself every single day by providing you with all the tools and support you need over the 60-day challenge. 2 60-minute one-on-one sessions, 60 daily prep work lessons, weekly one-on-one check-ins, and the weekly group Q&As. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, since the group is so small and intimate, you will receive unlimited one-on-one support outside of your scheduled time, so you can contact me anytime, and I will be contacting you all the time. So I guess it's decision time. Behind door number 1 is doing nothing, which I don't have to tell you is going to get you nothing. Option number 2 is to test this out for $197 with a 100% money back guarantee. See if it's for you. Option number 3 is to decide right now that you're ready to start investing in yourself and go all in for $497. Remember though that for option 3, when you're done the 60-day challenge and have done the work, if you're still not happy after 120 days of living this way, I will gladly send you $1,000 as an apology for wasting your time. Quoting Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11 once again, you're either in or you're out right now. One last thing before you make your decision though. That quote that I peppered throughout this that talks about success being rented every day, well, that's not actually the entire quote. Success is not something you own, it's something you rent, and rent is due every day. When you stop paying rent on success, you start paying the rent on failure. Do you want to be paying the rent on success, or do you want to be paying the rent on failure? Your money and your time can only go to one or the other. So let's say you and I work together on this and make sure that success is the one cashing the checks. Sincerely, I want to thank you so much for taking this time to invest in yourself. And it is my most sincere desire and pleasure to help you live your dreams, whatever they may be. So go ahead and email me at info@zoomfit4life.com to reserve one of only 7 spots right now.